The art of table setting is one that has fallen out of favor in recent times, but there are many reasons to embrace this beautiful art. Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Hello. Welcome to your personalized session devoted to learning the art of setting a table. We do have a variety of sessions that you can do in regards to table setting, from very informal up to a queen's table setting. Today we'll be focusing mainly on a basic setting method that you could use every day at home with your family. Now, before I start, I want to impress upon you the importance of table setting. A lot of these arts can feel arcane or perhaps outdated, but there are very good reasons to set your table. The first is purely aesthetic. A well set together table is very pleasing to the eye. It increases the gravita of a meal and makes it feel more special and more enjoyable. Eating with your loved ones should feel special and should be a celebratory experience. And as such, taking just a little bit of extra time to set a table can really improve that enjoyment and the appreciation from all involved. It's also a way to include others in the meal preparation process, perhaps in the later stages where it's not quite as convenient to have many hands in the kitchen, and so those hands can be better utilized in the dining area. The second reason for doing place settings is to aid in digestion. When a set plan is not followed, you may find your meal interrupted by needing to scurry off and grab a spoon grab a napkin if something spills. Whereas when a little bit of effort is taken, the whole meal can be consumed in the seated position at a leisurely pace to aid digestion. And the third reason is to engage in cultural connectivity. The setting of tables is generally dictated by cultural rules, and so will vary from culture to culture. And it's just a simple way to reconnect and define your culture. But you can also use it as an opportunity to explore in simple terms a different cultural reality. So, let us begin. As I said, we'll be doing a tutorial today on how to set the table just for your main meal at home. Now, I recommend that you start with a placemat. Here I have just a nice, simple, woven placemat. Obviously, there are wide varieties of options that you can choose. The placemat allows a nice framing of your table spot and can be quite aesthetically pleasing. It also serves to catch any fallen food to make cleanup of your table much easier as well. So, I want to fold out your placemat, and where possible, you'll ideally fit your entire place setting within the placemat. This will allow the placemat to do the maximal job possible by catching crumbs or fallen pieces of food. For the placement of your placemat, you want to leave a slight bit of space between the edge of the table and the placemat. It looks much more aesthetically pleasing to do so. But you don't want to push your placemat too far onto the table. Otherwise, you'll end up with lots and lots of crumbs in unwanted places. Now, the foundation of most meals is going to be a large-sized dinner plate. Now, the look that I've put together today is very specific and has elements that go together. So you can either choose to emulate the look that I've created, or choose different colors and styles as long as you feel like they all come together. You want to have a unifying feel in your place setting, because otherwise it can detract from the whole practice of place setting to begin with. So let us start by placing our plate. See, we have a nice large dinner plate. I've selected this plate due to its nice neutral color. This can complement a wide variety of dishes. It doesn't have a lip, so it has a nice smooth look across the surface of the plate. You can also see a little bit of speckling in there. This lends to the bit more informal feel that we are going for. Now the next plate is optional. It's slightly more formal to include a salad plate. Now, obviously, with a salad plate, you often will go with a same color as your dinner plate. But I wanted to grab this coordinating color to show this alternate styling that you can do. If you use this, it can really draw attention to the salad rather than making it feel like something that just needs to be gotten through before you toss it aside and get to the main event. When you use these two separate colors, the larger plate serves almost as an outline, which just draws the attention to the salad in the middle and creates the impact of making the salad itself feel like an event on its own. Lends the impression of a first course rather than simply a dinner salad. And those distinctions can impact your enjoyment of this element. So, next we'll look at our flatware. And this is something I think many people stress about quite often. Which side is which? The easiest way to remember it is that you generally are looking. The first item that you're likely to use is in the first position. And if you think about in Western culture, we read from left to right. So most often, if we're having a salad or any sort of dish like that, a fork is very essential. And so that will get the primary position. Next will come the knife. Now, for me, I always preference having the knife with the curved edge facing in to the plate. I think there's an elegance in having the two curves together. fiddle around with the placements until you get them where you want them. The knife, you can see, is in our second position, and that makes sense as we work in conjunction, piercing our food with a fork and perhaps cutting with our knife. And then finally, we have our spoon. Now the spoon still takes the same spot regardless of whether you have a soup or not. You don't put your spoon over here. This is going to follow just a traditional pattern. Now quite often you'll also want to have a napkin. Now the most traditional placement for your napkin is going to be under your fork. So if we take just a normal square napkin, you can fold it in half to give you a nice triangle. Place that under there and your fork on top. There are lots of variations for what can be done with napkins. So you may opt instead to simply place the napkin in the center of the plate, or you can use special folds to add height to the plate. As I said, napkins are a very fluid part of a table setting, and they are wonderful because there are so many different things you can do with them. So really feel free to play around or go simply with the triangle fold off under your fork. Now, of course, we'll also want a place for our drink. The drink goes in the upper right-hand corner. Now, if we're thinking of working from left to right, this indicates the importance of the drink as a supplement to the meal, but separated from the meal as well. And when you have wine glasses or other sorts of glasses, they would all go in this general area. There are certain prescriptions on where you should place them, but we won't be worrying about that today. Just assume we're working with a single glass setup, the upper right hand side. Now once you've got all your elements together, you may want to shift them around a bit. Maybe you want your napkin to be completely on the placemat, or you want it to stick out a bit more. And you want to shift this over so it's not completely in the center. There are the basic rules, but always feel free to break them. We aren't here to live restricted lives. I think it's good to understand some basic guidelines so that when you have a tiring day where creativity is the last thing you want to do, you have a nice, dependable layout to fall back on. But if you want to go crazy and do something a bit different, you can always feel free to do so. So that is our guide on how to set the table. I hope you'll be able to use this information to have many pleasing, enjoyable